Okay, this video is going to look at the evaluation of using juries. There are lots of good points, there are lots of bad points. You can argue the same point as a good and bad point, but we'll see. Okay, first of all, an advantage of using the jury is the secrecy of the jury room. So the jury are free to make decisions in private, away from any outside pressure. So they go into their room, we don't know what they're talking about, but there is nobody influencing them. That ensures that a fair verdict is reached, justice is done, it upholds the rule of law, it upholds Article 6 of the European Convention on Human Rights that the defendant has a right to a fair trial. Second point, you have 12 different opinions. These are 12 random people who have been selected. It ensures that if one person doesn't understand the evidence, somebody else may be able to. It's any bias, if you had somebody who had outdated views on women or race, whatever it is, then one person should be cancelled out by the 11, and we do allow a majority decision after a period of time. You also need to think, what is the alternative to having a jury? Those 12 randomly selected people. Are you going to have a panel of judges? 3 judges? That would be incredibly expensive. There wouldn't be enough judges. It would lead to delays. The criminal justice system is already booking trials in for 2024 in 2 years' time. So it's really important that cases are heard quickly and that justice has been achieved. Jurors are less case hardened than judges or magistrates. Magistrates and judges listen to so many cases that they might not be judging witnesses or defendants as impartially as they could. The other point I'd say is you're being tried by your peers, by your equals. It's not a qualified person who's judging you. So juries view the case impartially. They take their role very seriously. They judge on the facts. There's no need for them to have legal knowledge. The fact that they don't have legal knowledge means we don't have to pay them. So it's much, much cheaper for the state than using a panel of judges. That being tried by your peers, those people are involved in democracy. They are taking part in democracy, which upholds the rule of law. However, there are many, many disadvantages of using jurors. First of all, the secrecy of the jury room. We don't know how they are basing or what they're basing their decision on. How do they reach their verdict? They may be in a rush. They may be bored of the case and just rush their decision and find the person guilty or not guilty. The other problem we have is, do they understand it? They understand the law. Do they understand the facts of the case? Do they understand all the evidence? We don't know. We can't test them. There are no educational requirements to be on the jury. We can't test their understanding. So if they don't understand a bit of evidence, then a person could be wrongly convicted or equally wrongly acquitted. The other issue potentially, is this good? Is this bad? You can argue it both ways. Jurors can ignore the law and we can't challenge their decision. Now, this could be beneficial in the case of a terminally ill person who's helped someone die. The jury may know that technically this could be murder or assisted suicide. However, they just find the person not guilty. They ignore the law. It's a perverse decision and we can't challenge that. So is justice being achieved in that situation? You could say yes, you could say no, because they need to follow the law. Another possible problem, media influence. Big, high-profile cases. If somebody goes missing, that person's face is splashed across the media. And then when someone's arrested, the media gets so many details about them. They print photos of them, details of their lives. And then what you'll find is when the person is charged, the media start being quiet about them. So you've already heard some of the facts. So how can you separate that to what you hear in court? So not only the media influence, but what about any other biases, unconscious bias, things like that? And the longer the court case, I guess the longer the time the jury take to reach a verdict. Sometimes verdicts are not reached. That's called a hung jury. And then there could be a retrial, which adds to the expense. Another potential problem, particularly in modern times, internet research. Jurors are warned it's a criminal offence, but do they still do it? How do we know? How do we know if a juror is going home at night and Googling the defendant's name or the witness's name? If they're doing this, first of all, as I said, it's a criminal offence. They could go to prison, but also it undermines justice. It undermines the whole criminal process and the issue of using jurors. Okay, so lots of things to think about. That's not an exhaustive list. I keep thinking of more things, but yeah, hopefully that's a good starting point for you.